Shane Krieger, love the show, and Memphis Saturday morning shows are some of my fondest memories from my childhood. My question is, how was Austin Idol in and out of the ring? And any favourite matches or stories you have about the Universal Heartthrob?
I do. I was tagged up with him one time, and we were the champions of something. And they asked me one time, where did we win these titles? And in these days, you could just grab just shit out of the air. I said, well, we won it in a tournament in Philadelphia or somewhere. Where? Well, that building downtown, whatever. Who was in it? A lot of people. I just said we won it in a tournament in Philadelphia. And that's what Lance kept saying. Oh, they won this big tournament and became the champions. Well, there was no tournament. There was no match. There was there was a building, but we just made it up. But, and me and Idol, we teamed up for about, I don't know, 2 months, maybe. And Idol is a weird duck. He is. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke dope, which was like a prerequisite back in those days, because that wasn't hard drugs. And he liked to travel alone. He did have a friend. Lawler was his friend, which tells that eventually I was separated from Idol. And then Idol came in, and Lawler was a babyface. Idol came in every, I don't know, 6 months or so, and he'd stay 2 or 3 months, and then he'd leave. And he was one of those guys I call the outliers. I talked last week about St. Louis being an outlier. Well, Lawler used that too. He would book guys like Terry Funk and Idol, Dory, Joe LaDuke, and he would come in for special shows. And that kept Lawler special. Great booking, really. And it was smart booking, but it kept Lawler on top and kept his friends. He had his own group of guys, so they were loyal to him. But I seen a lot of times where he would book Idol, and Idol wouldn't show up. Oh my God, he wanted to kill Idol. And then he called up, well, I had a flat tire, or did this, did that. It was one show. I mean, they would fly him in the afternoon, fly him out in the morning. But Lawler kept him in that role for a long, long time. He drew money. He did do that, but Lawler he wasn't a guy who was super friendly with everybody. He would come in and he'd have his own little dressing room, and I mean, I'd go in there and tell him kiss my ass, whatever, because I knew him. But most of the guys, I mean, he didn't have a lot of friends amongst the roster. I mean, everybody was friendly to him, but as far as him like being one of the guys, he wasn't.
With Austin Idol, is he somewhat of a trailblazer? Because he seems to be one of the very first people to do the superstar Billy Graham sort of thing, with the great body and the bleached blonde hair and everything. And I think even The Rock has said that he stole some lines from Austin Idol.
Yeah, he may have. But Idol was, he was a trailblazer in that regard. You asked another question in there.
Oh, well, I'll ask another one. Did you ever hear the story where he cashed a fake check for real money?
That was what I was going on.
How good.
This was in the Georgia territory, and it was in the 70s. So they had this battle royal, and the winner got like $5,000. So they actually wrote him a check for $5,000 and presented it to him in the ring. And he took the check, he folded it up. And the next morning, and it was a real check. It was written on the First National Bank of Georgia or some whatever. He went down to the bank, and I don't know if it was written out. I don't know what his real name is. I forgot now.
Mike McCord.
What was his? I don't know if it was written out to Mike McCord. I think it was. But somehow he got the check cashed the next day. And then guess what he did? He left the territory. My God, who would have thunk it? He took a bogus check. It wasn't bogus. I mean, it was a real check. But to the fan, this is trying to keep kayfabe alive. They took the check. Here it is. And the camera got in on it, and they did it for TV. And they give it to him. He took it. Thank you very much. I love you people. Blah, 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 blah. Hey, yo. He was doing Ausin Idol stuff. Hey, yeah, blah. And he marched out, and everybody was happy. To the next morning, or probably to the next week, when those checks came in, the check statement, and they've had a check cashed for $5,000. And they tried to, I think they tried to legally charge him with embezzlement or something. But guess what? In doing so, they would have to they would have to admit that wrestling was pre-planned. And they weren't quite sure they wanted to do that. So he made $5,000. And that's a true story.